guys, welcome to Bar Z. My name's Stan, and today we're going to play with the 360-degree camera, which I have running right now. So I'll give you instructions on how to use it if you haven't used it before. If you're watching this on a PC with your mouse, grab a hold of the screen and swing left, swing right, swing up, swing down, and you can look around the whole shop. As messy as it is, feel free to look around. Have a look at the floor. I swept a little bit there, but over on the other side, you might be able to see it. There's a huge pile of swarf. Bench is cluttered. Place is a mess. But feel free to look around my messy space. So you can swing around. Also, on a PC, you can zoom. You can take your mouse wheel and scroll it in and out and zoom in on something. It gets a little pixelated, but you can zoom. So thought I'd play with the 360 cam today. I've got a few things we need to do. What we're gonna work on is getting some centers lapped on some pieces that we need to work on. Some remember this. I'm gonna hold it right here at the camera for a little while. I'm over here, guys. Quit looking around. I need to put a female center here and lap it. Or there actually is already a center there, but I need to clean it up. Then I've got a male 60-degree point there that needs to be lapped. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So this is fresh out of heat treat, and it needs a grind, but I need to get the centers cleaned up first. Next up is a test bar that I made. This is kind of a barbell type test bar for the lathe. It's a 6-inch test bar. And it's got centers on the end that I never lapped. And I ground the barbells with the Do More grinder attachment for the lathe. And I wasn't completely happy with them. But now that I've got the little Herrig, I'm going to regrind these and clean them up and get them till I'm happy. So I've got my little test bar that I'm going to clean up. So there's 2 more centers I'm going to do. And then I've got another regrind job, which is a cylindrical square. This is a big solid mass. And I don't know whether you can see this ring right about here, but it diminishes in size. So that last half inch or so is pretty much useless. Outside of that, whoever built this did a pretty good job. It's been ground over here on the side. You know, you can see the hash marks in the end. They did a pretty nice job. And this thing is pretty darn square, but I'm going to see if I can get rid of that last little bit. And when I ran it around on the Herrig, it's a little oval, a couple tenths, so I'm going to see if I can improve on that. So that's my big cylindrical square. So I've got 3 cylindrical grinding projects to do, and what we're going to use is I've got an assortment here. I'll show you what I've got. These are old dead end mills that I grind on the surface grinder with a Spindex to a 60-degree point. Now these are real easy to make. They're high-speed steel, you know, and these are all freshly ground. They're, you know, so they're pretty true. So I'm not that worried about killing these things. And if you know, we're going to use some lapping compound, and if you know, if we chew these up, no big deal. We're going to regrind them and use them later. So that's my pointy, sticky little tray that I keep bouncing around the shop. We're going to use a grinding compound by Permatex, and we're going to use the drill press. First of all, we're going to do all the females, and we need to find a center that's going to fit down in that hole properly. And I'm going to try to show you, I'm going to get in here close to the camera. I'm going to try to show you this is not fitted properly. So this goes in just a tad too deep, so we need a little more diameter. So this little center here is no bueno. So we can go up, that was a 1/4 inch. Looks like a 3/8 will fit that just fine. Yeah, so we've got room to spare there. All right. Then we're going to check our other one. This one's got some pretty big centers on it. And we'll see if 3/8 is going to work on that. It'll work on that one pretty good. Let's see how it does on this other one. Oh, it kind of falls all the way in. That's too close to call there. Hoping you can see that. So we're going to go ahead and bump up to the next size up. So I've got a big fat wonker here. And see, we're good there. That'll drop in there, no problem. So this one's already been lapped and cleaned. You know, when this was originally ground, I can see the lap marks in there. But we're just going to do it again, make sure it's clear and clean, and our centers are nice and crisp. And you know, why is that important? You know, we're going to be pulling the part out, measuring, putting it back in. You know, that's the beauty of dead centers, is your part indexes and registers in the exact same spot. But if you've got a little burr or a nick or something in there, two things can happen. You can chew up your centers on your machine, and you can get some inaccuracies, you know, by sitting on a little, you know how your center drill will go in and leave a ring of a burr on the top or the bottom. We want to eliminate those, and just basically we're getting in there and kind of sanding it. So we're going to just put this fella in here and start up. And we are way too fast, so now we're gonna slow down. There we go. And I'm going to use a couple of V blocks here, and we're going to go for this center here. I'm going to show it to you before. Just take a good look at that. And then we're going to, I just got a couple V blocks here. We're going to set that dude up there. Okay, good. And we're just going to take a little bit of our paste. Just put it on the center. And put a little down in the hole. And let it center up on that. And this isn't going to take much at all. I'm using a very light pressure. And I can feel that abrasive breaking down into nothing, and every time I lift, I can feel some more fall down in the hole. Okay, so we're done there. I'm going to go wash this off. It's a big gray mess. I'm going to go over to the sink, wash it out, and let you have a look at what that center looks like now. I'll be right back. Okay, so we've got our center done there. And it's pretty clean, looks good to me. I've been looking at it here. I looked at it under a jeweler's loop, and it's removed the rings that can come from center drilling. You know, you either get a burr of a ring on top or one down in the bottom, and you want those removed. And basically you want to remove any high spots. You know, you don't really care about the lows, but you do want to remove the highs. So it cleaned up nice. Now your next one is we're going to do all the female centers first. Then we're going to move on to this male center. You're probably saying, how the heck are you going to do that? I'm going to show you here in a minute after we're done. But we need to move on to, let's move on to this big fella right here. We'll get us some fresh lapping paste on there. A little fresh lapping paste down in the hole. Like I say, this one's already been done and ground before, but I'm just going to clean it up. You know, all it takes is one little ding, and you're going to have some inaccuracies. So I just want to start off with a fresh center on these guys. You can probably hear. You can probably hear it cutting. Now, I'm not bearing down at all. I'm just using just finger pressure and just letting the paste do the cutting. And every time I lift and come back down, I can feel more of that abrasive getting in there. Okay, so that one's done. And this is pretty much how easy it is. You know, I'm just going around and getting all my centers cleaned up. And our next video is going to be grinding everything, doing our face grinding and doing this OD. And I want to see how accurate I can get with that little herrig. What I've experienced so far, I've been pretty impressed. And if your drill press runs out a little bit, you know, don't panic. Just let your part float. You don't want it rigid in there. Just let it float and follow the center. I know this drill press has got a few thousandths to run out, so it's you can probably see the part wiggling, but I'm just letting the part follow the center. All right, that's it. All right, these centers are clean on this one. That's ready to go. And then next we've got our little test bar. Well, that's going to be high enough or not. I'm going to have to move the table down. Here's a look at these centers. These have never been lapped on the test bar. But that's machined, hardened, and ground 01 tool steel, so it's been hardened and tempered. But I'm just not happy with what the Dumore, or the Dumore tool post grinder did. So I'm going to redo this on the herrig. See if I can get under there. Oh, I got to lower the table just a tad. Little paste down in the hole, little paste on the center. And I've seen people do this on the lathe before. This works fine. You just want to clean that center. All right, let me go get this one cleaned up. I'm going to show you the difference between that side and the one I just lapped. So let me go get this one washed out, and we'll have a good look at it. I'll be right back. Okay, well I'm back from the sink, and I thought I'd show you the difference here. This side has been lapped, and this side has not been lapped. Okay, so I can see it with my magnifiers on here. Down in that hole, it's all clean. There's no high spots. It's got a nice. It's a very dull grind. You know, it's a very coarse lapping paste, but that doesn't make any difference. That'll just hold a little more oil. The trick is that I just don't have any more high spots, and I don't have to worry about high spots. So before and after. All right, let's get this finished up, and then we're going to move on to that male point on there. Let's see, which one was I on? There we go. A little more abrasive down in the hole. Now, I've seen other guys do this on the lathe, like I was saying, and it seems like an awful lot of work. And when you can just use a kind of a renewable source like these dead end mills that are already ground to a 60-degree point, you know, who cares if you score them up and kill them? You're just going to touch them up and regrind them. We'll take a look at this 60-degree point that I'm using here when I'm done, and see how bad we damaged it. You know, if it does need a regrind, and how badly it's damaged. That might be interesting. All right, that feels pretty good. When you first start out, you can hear it skipping, and then you can hear it start smoothing out in there, so you know you're creating a very round, very nice center in there with your lapping compound. Yep, that one's clean all the way around. I'm gonna wash that one a while. Let's take a look at that center. Well, you can definitely see where we were doing our lapping. And you can definitely see some score marks on there. This is the first time I've ever done any lapping with this center at all. So you can definitely see from there to there where it was contacting the abrasive. Because you can see the original grind on the thing. So pretty interesting. All right. Well, so that one's due for a touch-up. Throw it in a Spindex. Clock the Spindex at 30 degrees on your, on your mag plate. Come in and side wheel that turkey. You know, I wait till I got a bunch of centers, and you set up to do it, and it's quick and easy. I can go through all my centers and do them all, clean them all up in 5-10 minutes. No big deal. Okay, next challenge. If you've been waiting for this, we want to get that point cleaned up so it'll fit in the centers on the herring. Now, how are you going to do that? I don't have any way to grind a female socket like that. I don't have one, but we do need to get this chuck out of here. Let me find my taper pin. So my drill press is a Morse Taper 2, and all I'm going to use is a Morse Taper 2 that's got a female center on it. So we're just going to pop this guy in. And now I need to come down on this male point. So it's pretty much the opposite of what we were doing. So, most shops have some kind of arbor laying around, so you can find an arbor that's got a pretty nice female on it if you do need to clean up a male point. I think we're good about there. Throw this up on V-blocks. I think I can get down on that. Can I get down that low? Yeah, I'm good. Okay. So here, I'll show you one last time what the tip looks like. There's the point. And I've already run this around in the herring center a little bit with some whey oil on it. And, I've been looking for white lead on eBay. The only thing you're going to ever find is new old stock. I hear Dutch Boy, the paint companies, used to sell white lead in a can. Haven't been able to find any, but Robin Renzetti over at Rob Renz, go check his channel out if you don't already. Shame on you if you don't. He turned me on to some, I think it's boron nitrate that mixed with another paste high pressure lube, and he said he feels it's better than white lead, and I do trust Robin, so he's turned me on to something good, and I got that stuff coming in for lubricating my centers when I run. So I'm going to get set up here, get down on oh, we're good there. Now I got to try to get some abrasive up in that hole and down on the tip. And again, I'm just using very light finger pressure here. I'm not bearing down on this at all. You don't want to. You just want to let that paste, keep letting some fresh paste get in there and let it keep cutting. You guys got to excuse me if I sound a little nasally. I think I'm coming down with a cold. All right, let's have a look. See what this thing looks like. Okay, we're clean all the way around. You know, this is just lathe cut. That tip's just lathe cut. But I think we've got a good center there. A good place for that to ride on in the Herrig. You know, we've got our female side done. We've got our male side done. Those are finished. So all three of my projects, I'm ready to mount on centers now. And I am confident that when I remove my part and put it back in, you know, pull it out, measure it, check it, do whatever, test fit it, it's going to go back in and register back in its place in the same spot. And I'm not going to have any burrs or anything in there that's going to affect how these things mount. So that's how I lap centers. I've seen other ways to do it with a 60-degree grinding point in the lathe, and you know, chuck this stuff up in the lathe. This would be a little difficult to chuck up. You could do it, but be a little difficult. I've seen other people do it that way. This is pretty quick and easy. All right. I appreciate you guys watching. Hope you enjoyed the 360-degree cam view. All right, we'll see you on the next one.